Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso at thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. It's your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Reach out to me directly, tmosso at thewatchbox.com. Today, we're discussing a model launched in 2015, the 228-235, 40 millimeters in Ever Rose Red Gold. This is the Rolex Oyster Perpetual Day-Date 40, a timepiece that is easy to wear with tons of flair and a fine green dial, a signature of Rolex as a company. This is a timepiece that, in addition to being 40 millimeters in diameter, is 12.2 millimeters thickened from lug to lug, 47.3 millimeters with a 21 millimeter spacing between the lugs. The timepiece is easy to wear on my 16 centimeter circumference wrist. It's not nearly as broad as the previous Day-Date 2, which, though only a millimeter larger in size, had solid end links that flared out to over 53 millimeters across the wrist. So this actually wears considerably more compact. It'll fit underneath the cuff. You can see from overhead, the lugs come nowhere near the edge of my wrist, and you get the same sense down the barrel that it's a good match. I could recommend it for wrist as small as 13 centimeters in circumference. It's nicely weighted and substantial. Solid case back in red gold, solid links both end and center, and a milled clasp means this is a watch that's nicely counterweighted on the wrist. It has no tendency to rotate if you want to wear it loose. Taking a quick look at the bracelet, there's what you can see and there's what you cannot see. Let's start with what you can. Though the watch is often nicknamed the Rolex President, the fact is it's always been the Day-Date. The bracelet, however, launched with the watch in the mid-1950s, is properly called the President bracelet. It's a design that has the short link profile of the 5-link Jubilee, but the 3-link architecture of the Oyster sports watch bracelet. As a result, it's silky and elegant like the Jubilee, but it's solid and substantial like the Oyster. Staggered link size, staggered link alignment, polished centers, polished outer faces, and satin shoulders. You can see that the removable links, and there are many of them on each side, are fixed by screws, so you just remove them until you get the right size, or add them back. What you can't see here, the pins inside the bracelet are now ceramic coated. As of 2015 and the arrival of the Day-Date 40, what was previously only available on the Day-Date 2 in platinum is now universal to this model line, as even the gold bracelets now feature those ceramic coated pins that can never be worn down. As a result, Rolex bracelet stretch has ended definitively with this bracelet. Now, the clasp is fascinating because what appears at first glance to be a friction cinch or lock is actually a lift lock system. You can see there's actually a beak and a hook, and the two of them go together and latch. So you can't just pull it open. You have to switch it open and then pull it open. So it's got a lot more security on the wrist than previous President bracelets and crown clasps. Though, as ever, with the crown clasp, it remains elegant and low profile, with the only partition point between the two sides being that 5-point Rolex cornet. Now, rolling around to the case, we are miles from the super case here. Tapered, elegant, fluid, and fashionable. This is a timeless watch that was never designed to be as squared off, sheer, and brutalist as the subs, the GMTs, and the Explorer 2s. As a result, it has more in common with the Datejusts and the Yachtmasters in case profile. We have a double dot crown, which means that it is gold and a twin lock, screw down 100 meters, water resistant. The bezel is faceted like a cut gem, especially when these are fresh, and this one is factory fresh. You can see it's never been refinished, and it has a wonderful twinkle like cut stones, glittering around a dial that is best described as a sort of olive green metallic. Let me steady my camera and bring it closer again. The dial features lovely faceted applique rose gold Roman numerals, including a watchmaker's 4, a gilt or golden style printing, including a chapter ring outboard, the day and the date in faceted apertures, and down the center, faceted baton-style hands. The watch features a quick set for both the day and the date, and I'll demonstrate how that works. You can adjust the date by itself, turning clockwise, or you can adjust the day in isolation, turning counterclockwise. Pull the crown out all the way, and you activate stop or hacking seconds. And then what's inside is the Rolex manufactured caliber 3255 automatic winding with bidirectional action. It has a 70-hour power reserve, and it uses a Leica-etched chronergy escapement that's basically a modification of the Swiss lever, but technically speaking, it's Rolex's answer to Omega's coaxial. Both produce outstanding results in chronometry, with the outcome being a COSC certificate for this movement, but Rolex then takes the bare movement and regulates it in 6 positions cased up inside the watch. As a result, Rolex rates these watches as no worse than -2 plus 2 seconds per day rated accuracy from the factory, hence a substantive basis for calling these watches superlative chronometer. They pivot on 31 joules, they beat away at 28,800 vibrations per hour. A big change in this generation of movement from the previous 3155 is that the jeweled staff automatic winding rotor has been replaced by a sturdier winding rotor bearing that makes them more shock tolerant. As ever, they feature a handmade overcoil hairspring that allows concentric breathing of the hairspring and even timekeeping in any position. The overcoil is made by hand. The alloy of that hairspring is niobium zirconium, meaning this watch is also highly anti-magnetic. And finally, it has a full balance bridge with a free-sprung index, meaning that the balance architecture is very shock tolerant. This watch packs a punch visually and technically. Reach out to tmosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.